Oh my God. Dude, Holtzman said some of the darkest shit I've ever seen anybody say on stage. He went on stage after. Do you remember Susan Smith, that lady that drowned her kids? She was a lady that she drowned her kids. Mm-hmm. I forget like what the context of it was. Holtzman went on stage like 2 days later. Was like, I heard those were bad kids. I heard they sat that close to the TV. They never put away their blocks. They fucking spilt their milk. Those kids will not be missed. And people were like, what in the fuck?
When you say that, maybe I have heard Brian Holtzman.
Dude, right after really September 11th, Mitzi wouldn't let him go on stage. She's like, keep him off stage. She wouldn't let him go up. She wouldn't let him go up.
Couldn't risk the potential like riot.
Well, he's a really funny guy and a really good comic, but he's never been a professional like his whole life. He's been doing comedy forever. When I came to the store in 94, Holtzman was already there. And he's never been a professional. He's always had a job. Mm-hmm. He's always been, he was a dog catcher, he was a meter maid, like a bunch of different shit.
Yeah.
So he's never really branched out.
Yeah.
Eleanor was telling me how you fought Martin Lawrence's bodyguard.
Well, you could call it that. You could say, I would say Martin Lawrence's bodyguard beat the fuck out of Brian Holtzman. That's how I would say it. Martin Lawrence was heckling. And Holtzman's on stage. He's saying crazy shit. And there's like 10 people in the room. And Martin was heckling, apparently. And Brian got off stage to point out that it was Martin Lawrence. He's like, look, this fucking rich, famous motherfucker's heckling me. Boom!
Oh, wow.
And he gets knocked out by
it was that immediate. This wasn't even a parking lot thing. This was...
I heard it was a showcase.
Is that what you heard?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Those stories get twisted, right?
Yeah.
Stories get weird after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the dark days of the Comedy Store. That was like, I want to say that was like, I don't even know if that was the 2000s.
What is it now? I haven't really been in like I've kind of been, but I like. Is it now like still that place where you go experiment, try out?
I do.
Yeah.
You do. Jamar is actually I go to see Jamar. When I go, it's usually to at whatever 1 a.m. shit that
right.
You know what I mean? That's like great.
I just hit him up and be like, "Hey man, I'm going up. I'm gonna do some crazy shit. You coming through?"
Oh yeah, I love it.
For those 1 o'clock sets, it's a different world. It's experimental. It's strange. It's kind of sad. There's a little bit of sadness in the room.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, the sadness.
The sadness is those late night, because you're looking at your watch like, why am I not at home? Why am I not asleep?
Yeah. I remember that feeling my first time going to the Comedy Store. Just being like, why am I sad? Just like this thing that just weighs you. Like, I remember feeling kind of like
worthless.
No, just like kind of like it really feels like a ghost is choking you up. Like it's not like it's like a weird
Who's ghost?
Oh man, pick one.
There's a lot of
from
ghosts.
like '89.
There's a lot of ghosts in that room, and they when everyone's gone. That's when they show up.
You think for real?
No, I don't think for real. Like you'll see them, but you do definitely feel like weirdness.
Yeah, no, there's a weird...
Especially when you bomb and you get that cold... like, fuck you, Pryor!
Well, he bombed there, too. There's some classic famous stories about Pryor bombing as he was filming Live on the Sunset Strip. Like some of the sets...
Mythologic had the footage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Showtime doc had like the footage of that show.
Oh, the show where he was prepping, like where he was getting ready for
well, no, like the show where it just didn't go, like, with
so
Stevie Wonder.
They filmed a few of them?
Yeah, well, they filmed that strip show where he had to come back the next night and like kind of redo it. He just had like, he was just, he operated from such a place of just like, it was so, it had to be honest to him. I think, and it hadn't gone up in a while and was on stage and was just like in the room and just sat in it. he just sat. The footage is crazy.
Send me that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really.
Who's
crazy.
got the footage?
Well, it's in the doc. You can see it in the documentary, like a little bit, but I think it's extended footage. I haven't seen the extended footage if that exists, but
there's some great old cassettes that I bought from like a gas station. There were Red Fox's comedy club. Red Fox had a comedy club, and Pryor would go up and just fuck around, man. Just fuck around. And there was many of them. I mean, there was like 7 or 8 recordings.
Mavericks Flats, I think it was, right?
That was the name of the company?
I think so. Off of like Crenshaw or something over there,
where the club was?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh.
I got them when I was living in Boston. And I found them like at a gas station. They were for sale.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was crazy because it was like it was small crowd. You could tell it was a small crowd, and Pryor was just fucking around, man. He was ad-libbing. You could tell that like it wasn't structured, and some of it was really funny, and some of it like kind of fell flat. And, and you could hear like the clink of glasses and shit in the background,
sounds,
and
man.
It was just so real. Richard Pryor back then, he was doing something that it's like he had figured out a thing that he could do that other people hadn't figured out. And that thing was like just be totally honest and also just explore ideas on stage in front of people. Like not even have it mapped out yet. Just fuck around and find what's funny. And he'd be smoking cigarettes and just talking, and he figured out a way to turn, and then you would see it boiled in to like Richard Pryor Live or Live on the Sunset Strip or any of his specials. You would see it boiled down into that.
Yeah. Doing it for he performed for television really well. And that's like kind of an element that I think people kind of forget, that like how well of it connected with you watching it at home. Like, even me 20, 30 years later after it's filmed and just watching it with my dad, he plays really well here. You know what I mean? Like, to you, it's like you can feel how personal, how honest it is. And like, so when it was like boiled down, it was just, he was also captured really well.
Did you ever see him live?
No. Pryor?
Yeah.
Wait, how old do you think I am?
No, he was alive doing stand-up 10 years ago. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, he died.
When did he die? Maybe it was more than 15 years ago. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Did you ever see him live?
Yeah, I had to follow him for like 5 weeks in a row, man.
Really? Where like a run in
2005 he died? Okay, so it was more than I thought.
Like a
13
run
years ago. He did a run before he died. It was probably right before then. Actually, I want to say it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around then. He was real sick, and they would have to carry him to the stage. And it would take like 5 minutes for him to get to the stage. So they'd introduce him, and the comic would get out of the way. And then Chewy and Marilyn Martinez's husband would help him walk to the stage. They would hold on to him, take him to the stage. It would take forever. It was a slow process. And they'd get him, and they'd sit him down, and they'd crank up the mic like this. Because his voice was so soft.
Feeble
then. And he would do stand-up. He'd do like 15, 20 minutes, and then I would go on after him almost every time. It would be me. And just eat shit. I would just eat shit. Because first of all, nobody knew who I was. And second of all, they just saw Richard Pryor, and they're sad. Because he's fading away right in front of everybody.
Yeah, it's an interesting feeling. Like never before has like a British type intermission been needed more.
A British type intermission.
You know, like where it's just like, all right, Richard Pryor is gone, and 15 minutes, people go smoke cigarettes, come back.
What year did you start doing stand up?
2008.
Yeah, so you missed it.
Yeah.
Did you go to the clubs at all before then to look around?
No. Well, 2 nights before my first time.
2 nights before your first time?
2 nights before my first time, I went to the Comedy Store.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have
my first day in LA? I saw the whole show 9 to 2 a.m.
Wow. You sat through the whole show.
The whole show, did the open mic that Sunday.
Whoa. That's an experience, man. The people that do that, man, that's like running an ultra marathon. Like sitting through
but
9 a.m. to 2.
It's interesting. I can watch
9 p.m.
I can watch it, I can consume a high volume of it in a lot of cases. Like, I'm